The truth is, as of a week ago, I've never even seen a crit race. But now I've done one, and these are my thoughts from the perspective of a beginner. There are 5 categories in crit racing, Cat 1 through 5. 5 is the slowest category. If you're just starting, that's where you start. Cat 5 is where I started. That's the race I did last week. This race starts with 3 laps of neutral rollout, which basically just means that for the first 3 laps, everyone is going slowly. So it's not really a race in the very beginning. As well, if you look at I started at the back of the pack here, and you can see that there are women, children, and men on mountain bikes in this crit race. So competition is not exactly elite. A lot of beginners here, a lot of people who haven't really raced before. Now about 7 minutes later, neutral rollout is coming to an end, and the actual race is about to start. Immediately, you can see that I'm in a terrible position. I just didn't realize that the back half of the ride would just immediately get dropped. So I was just happily sitting in the draft, and then suddenly the front of the group was gone off front, and I had to sprint and chase them down. Pretty foolish, not really a crazy hard effort, but immediately it's clear that I have no idea what I'm doing. A few minutes later here, I am once again too far back in the group in a bad position when somebody sprints off the front, and once again I have to make up that whole gap because I was just in the wrong place. Now we're finally moving at some real speed, and the draft is becoming incredibly important. Basically, my goal is to stay directly behind one of these 2 guys because they're blocking all the air, and it means we go much faster. Of course, that means we have to trade off, so sometimes I will be at the front, putting out more power so that as a group we can stay ahead of the entire rest of the pack. About a minute later here, you can see the group cycling back around. These are the front 4, and we stayed at the very front for the entire rest of the race. At this point, this guy says to me, which frankly I thought was ridiculous because I just pulled them for a whole lap and a half. But I decided, whatever. There was another breakaway, I chased it down, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm stronger than all these guys anyway, I'll just pull for a few laps. Once again, I'm in a terrible position, making me put in way more effort than was really necessary to chase this breakaway down. If I had been directly behind this guy when he went off the front, I could have stayed in his draft and put in half the effort. So I chased down this breakaway, and I pretty much immediately decided I'm spending way too much time trying to catch up to other people. I need to do a hard pull and just see if they can keep up. So I spent the next 2.5 minutes pulling at the very front of the group pretty hard. Again, tactically, probably a stupid decision, Now I've finally slowed down, I've dropped my power, and I'm expecting that the rest of the people following behind me will pull out in front and start pulling this group, and I will fall back in behind in the draft. What actually happens is everybody else starts immediately soft pedaling and going super easy. And this is when I started to realize that maybe I actually was just stronger than everybody else on the field. I went on to spend the next 8 minutes pulling at the front, and here was pretty much my reasoning, although it's probably pretty flawed. I was pulling the front of this group at honestly not very high power, probably 230, 235 watts, which is not exactly zone 2, but it's quite a sustainable effort for me, and nobody was pulling around me or getting ahead of me. And I figured that must mean kind of one of two different things. Either everybody in this field believes themselves to be an incredible sprinter, in which case I don't want to sprint at the end, in which case I want to go hard, or everybody in this field can barely hold on, in which case I might as well just keep going hard. So I figured either way, I might as well just stay where I was and keep going hard. It's hard to see on video, but that is the lap counter, and it says that there's 1 lap left. Here I am, still at the front, in the worst possible position leading up to the final sprint, but I realized basically at this point, I'm not even going that hard, so I'm just going to hope that I have the legs in me to actually hold on to the sprint. Now I see this guy's shadow coming around me from the right to the left, and I think we're still way too far out from the finish line, but I thought, you know, if he gets past me, then there's no way I catch back up, so I guess this is it. This is my final sprint. I did 760 watts for 30 seconds, which is, you know, it's okay. It's not an amazing sprint, but it was enough to bring me the win. Overall, I think obviously I'm happy that I won. My tactics really, I had none. I had no idea what I was doing. I was all over the course. I spent way too much time at the front, and I only really won because I had the legs to do it. So hopefully as I move up the categories, I actually learn what the hell I'm doing.
Tank. Good one. Thanks. My starting to tell me to pull. I'm looking at him, thinking my head here, keeping me on the road limiter the last 3 laps. Oh shit. Congratulations. Thanks. That was a great sprint. Come on now. What, do you have a number? Hello, dog.
No.